Simple, really. Criminal damage, holding up a placard, and being, remanded in custody for over a year for doing things like that should not necessitate 14 years in prison. It's as simple as that. It makes a mockery. It makes a mockery of our criminal justice system.
But they're not going to have 14 years in prison yet, are they, Khalid? I mean, this is ongoing.
Well, the Filton 24, as you know, there are currently people being remanded in custody without trial.
For holding up a sign.
Well, no, for engaging in activities before Palestine Action was prescribed, they're currently remanded in custody without trial for over a year under terrorism legislation, and they've not had access to a jury or anything like that because of the terrorism legislation. So it's already happening. These political prisoners, as the previous caller called, they're already happening now. If you've got 1,000 people next month going to Parliament and holding up a placard, what's going to happen? I mean, can't the government see the fallacy of what they've done? They've literally turned something that was easily dealt with under the existing laws in the criminal justice system in terms of damage, and criminal damage, but they've changed it into something that's made it political and caused a huge furore over nothing.
But Khalid, the people who are making it political are the over 500 people who stood there with placards saying, "I support Palestine Action." They don't have to do that. They could say, "I support a free Palestine, action for Palestine, anything to do with Palestine, but not Palestine Action." They knew exactly what they were doing. They did it deliberately, and they deserve the full force of the law.
The people who made it political is our government that is not acting on a plausible genocide. When a government has the ability to prevent a genocide happening per the Geneva Convention,
so
our government should be preventing a genocide, and our government we as the people should be able to protest that, shouldn't we?
Of course
we have freedom of protest here, don't we?
Of course we do. We don't have freedom of criminal damage, do we?
No, we don't. And that should they should be charged under criminal damage.
Yes, but then... Okay, so, Khalid, let me ask you this very clearly. So, are you defending or not defending acts of criminal violence?
No, if you undertake criminal damage...
Okay, yeah, go on, finish your point, go on.
If you undertake criminal damage, you should be charged under that legislation.
Perfect, great. So you're not endorsing criminal damage, but you're not... But you're not saying that Palestine Action should have been prescribed as a terrorist organisation, is that right?
Yeah, it's an overreach, Ali. Everyone can see it's an overreach.
So therefore, even if it was criminal damage and it was an overreach, which is a valid point because a lot of people feel the same way you do you think that over 500 people should be going out on the streets and basically lauding criminality? This comes down to the right of process, doesn't it? No, it doesn't, Khalid. It doesn't. It comes down to lauding criminality. Even if you think that group should not be proscribed, you do, and you just said you do, because I've got it on the recording, that you believe that criminality is wrong and they engage in criminal acts. You agree, right? So therefore, people who are holding up placards, they are supporting openly, willfully, in front of all the cameras, acts of wanton criminality, vandalism and worse.
And here's the answer to that, Ali. Okay, what makes a person do that, and they're prepared to go to prison to do that?
Yeah, but they're trying to. But then they are trying to prove a point to be political prisoners, to try and feel that they're like modern day Amnesty International heroes, the modern day Nelson Mandelas.
Because people are dying.
Okay, but then why are people moaning about the fact that they might end up in prison?
Well, they're prepared. I mean, you think the courage and the
can't have it both ways.
No, but you think of the courage and conviction it takes, knowing that if you hold a placard saying, "I support Palestine Action," you are likely to be arrested.
No, it's stupid. It's absolutely irresponsible and ridiculous to do that. You can hold up a placard saying, "I support Palestine, I support freedom for Palestine, I support a two-state solution, I support anything." Would you hold up a sign, Khalid, saying, "I support Al-Qaeda"?
Personally, no.
Why?
Well, because I don't necessarily agree with ISIS and what they stand for.
Okay. But Al-Qaeda's a prescribed terrorist group, so is Palestine Action. So what's the difference?
Well, what the people are demonstrating against is that there is a clear difference between the two. It's only the government that deems them to be the same. Most people would know that there's a difference between Palestine Action and Al-Qaeda. Most people would know there's a huge difference between the two.
So therefore, is the argument then, Khalid, that the people are trying to point out that the government has acted sort of ultra vires here, beyond its sense, it's taken leave of its senses? Is that the point they're trying to make?
Well,
or is it actually solidarity with Palestine they're trying to make?
No, clearly the two are intertwined, Ali. You can't divorce the two.
I do understand that, Macaulay, but as I say, no one is saying, and the Home Secretary herself has written in the Observer just a few days ago, that no one is saying that people should not feel free to protest for Palestine. People are doing that all the time. No one's arresting anyone for that. But this is a deliberate act on the part of people holding up that placard. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they chose to do it. And therefore, they leave the police with no choice but to arrest them, do they?
Agreed, and I hold my hat off to people who are prepared to go to prison for 14 years.
Okay, Khalid, very good to talk to you. Thank you for your view.